win the House elections in the 2022 House midterms? I'll give you my prediction on the next segment. Hello everyone, welcome back to Luis Discusses Everything, and today we're going to discuss my prediction for the 2022 House election midterm. Over here I'm going back to the website that we normally use on this channel, which is 538.com, and in their website they have the Republicans with a 76% chance to win the House. That is a percentage that I agree with, and this is as of September 5th, 2022. At the time of posting this video, which would be a week after this, I don't think the ratings will change that much, which is why I decided to do it during this era. So with a 76% chance of victory, you would think, oh, that's a considerable chance of victory. And you would be right. But in a midterms year in which the Republicans are supposed to have the advantage electorally because the president is a Democrat in office, and historically the president has won. And historically, the opposite party of the president who is in power usually wins the midterm, at least for the past 40 years. Given that historical fact, the Republicans aren't doing as well as expected. In fact, in the last couple of months, the Republicans have actually lowered their chances of victory. Their highest chance of victory, according to the 538 forecast, was 88%. They are down to 76%. Albeit, that's still really good, but it's just not as good as it is expected given the current political climate. That aside, I'm going to give you my own prediction for how I think the House is going to look like after these 2022 midterms. So the 538 politics forecast makes it really easy for you to determine how the House election is going. If you look at here, you see a lot of crazy jumbled mess of hexagons. One are shaded blue and others shaded red, but different shades of each color. If you look at the legend over here on the top, you will see that the ratings associated with each one: solid R, likely R, lean R, toss-up, lean D, likely D, and solid D, and their percentages according to the percentage probability of victory in each one. But the most important one aren't the ones heavily shaded in either blue or red, but rather the ones that are toss-ups, or the ones that are of very light color on either side. Now, in a previous video, I mentioned how difficult it was for the Democrats to win the House election. And I mentioned that a big reason was the fact that districts have been drawn in a way that favors one party over the other. Now, Democrats and Republicans are both guilty of this. It's called gerrymandering. Republicans have actually been able to do a lot more of this. That's why in the forecast, you see a lot more Republican seats on the solid category, 195, versus Democrats 166. The same thing happens on the likely characterizations for both parties and on the lean characterizations for both parties. In fact, it is so lopsided again in favor of the Republican Party that even if the Democrats win all seats that are toss-up, they would still lose control of the House to the Republicans, assuming they win all of their lean seats. That being said, it is still entirely possible for the Democrats to win the House, albeit extremely difficult. In 24% of the scenarios, the Democrats win the House, but in 76% of the scenarios, that doesn't happen. In my own personal prediction associated to the House election, I would say that is true, that the Republicans will still edge out the Democrats by a margin of 220 seats up to 230 seats. I think the most likely scenario will be that the Republicans will win a total of 220 seats, giving them a 2-seat majority. I know that's a slim margin, but considering that the Democrats are up in the polls, in the most recent polls, and they're gaining popularity nationwide, I expect the race for the House to increasingly get narrow. But the advantage that the Republicans have on the redistricting race will give them the edge to actually win the House. So that is the extent of my forecast. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Check out the merch store if that is to your liking, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. you.